here at the 12 o'clock position on Atlantis Spaceship, we have our blue Zerg player, new representative of Team SCV Life. It is ST.Symbol. And his opponent at the 8 o'clock position, our red Protoss player and winner of the last game, very unconventional game, it is Squirtle. And we want to remind you guys out there that if you want to win tickets to our Hot Import Nights event next Saturday, then you need to head over to twitter.com/IGNProLeague, tweet at IGNProLeague, and hashtag IPLHIN to win. So, of course, that will be next Saturday. We're going to have an amazing lineup of players. Dongre Goo, Illusion, Hero, MMA are all going to be there in a 4-player double elimination tournament competing for 10 grand in prizes. Of course, if you don't win a ticket, you still want to go. You're going to be in downtown Los Angeles at that time. Then head over to hotimportnights.com to pick up your tickets and use the code IPL for $5 off your order.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing who comes out on top of that one. I feel like we could see some upsets. Who knows?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Well, PVZ on Atlantis Spaceship, another big map, so wouldn't be surprised at all to see that very standard 3-hatch opening from our Zerg player. Of course, we didn't see it last time, but that was kind of an exception to the rule. It almost seems kind of redundant to talking about seeing that 3-hatch opening now. I mean, it's the standard. I mean, it's kind of feels like talking about Reactor and Hellion openings for Terran for the last, 3 or 4 months. It was just what every Terran did. Things are finally starting to change on the Terran side, but there's really no end in sight for Zerg. I don't really see anything that's going to change that opening in the near future for them.
Well, Revival's game last time didn't do a lot to convince people of that
nope.
either. So.
Not really.
Well, hey, I can't be too hard on Revival. I mean, the man won 3 games in a team league. That is ridiculous. I mean, congratulations to him for doing so. ST.Symbol, though, we mentioned before, as good as Revival is, ST.Symbol's on another level right now. And, if anyone is going to be able to close this out as a Zerg player for TSL, it's certainly him.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned before, he's got really good results in individual league, results in team league as well. So we'll see if he can close things out for TSL.
And looks like those are really close together. I can't believe that that's not an attack range, but finally the probe does get close enough to be attacked. As we can see, though, ST.Symbol decided to go with the same sort of thing that Hyun did, send out 2 drones at the same time, and apparently that probe was stunned into silence there and didn't move for a few seconds.
I guess so. He's like, oh, hatchery. But I feel like there's like a certain amount of time that each attack animation takes, too.
Yeah.
So if the unit doesn't have time to complete the animation before the attack hits and stay in range, I think it just doesn't attack. That's my theory anyway on why that wouldn't happen.
Interesting. I will allow it. I like
Good.
that theory.
Makes sense. Seems logical.
Yes. For ST.Symbol, though, of course, sitting on those 2 hatcheries, going to put up his 3rd here in just a second, and there it is, right about the 4-minute 10-second mark. So things pretty normal from him. And the question will be, does he want to just sit on a Roach Max? Does he want to go up to that Pretty Quick Infestor build? This is a map that Protoss players have some options to wall off, although it's a little bit harder than something like Ohana or Metropolis or Entomb Valley. Your 3rd is quite exposed if you decide to take the natural 3rd. We've seen some players put like 4 gateways here, something like that, and 1 million cannons behind that. We've seen some players that have decided to wall off this space, potentially even this space. So there are options, but it's not easy. Yeah,
it's a map that Protoss can play pretty defensive on, but we'll see. I mean, the thing is, I feel like I almost feel like maps in StarCraft 2 are getting a little bit too big right now. I don't know, because it seems like a lot of games right now are, 10 minutes of setup and then the push, in a lot of matchups. So maps like this, Atlantis Spaceship, I like the features in the middle of the map, kind of the ups and downs, the high ground, low ground, the trenches and things like that. But overall, I feel like this map is maybe a little bit too big. This is probably my least favorite map in our map pool right now.
It has historically produced our best games, though, I will say. I mean, we have had some epic showdowns on this. Team Rated Challenge 2, a game with July, was just insane. I mean, this one consistently, time after time, has produced. I've heard the same thing from Artozas and Wolf on GSL, where they mentioned that of the maps in Team League, this is the one that they like the least. But I have to disagree with them. I mean, I love this map, so I think it just produces some very cool games.
Well, I hope it does this time. I mean, ST.Symbol and Squirtle are it's a pretty awesome matchup right now in StarCraft 2. So if anyone's going to produce some pretty awesome games, it's definitely going to be these guys. Fast +1 coming out for Squirtle right now, and a couple more gases. Nice thing for Protoss on this map is that it's a little bit trickier to scout this. As you can see, the Overlord that was going to just died. So it looks like in this case, ST.Squirtle did get the information, but a lot of times other Protoss players will have that Stalker back there a little bit earlier to make sure that that doesn't happen. So ST.Squirtle actually getting a little bit lucky there with his scout, getting to see those 2 gas going down.
And ST.Squirtle, obviously, pretty normal stuff out of him. Deciding to get, you know, if we remember, Revival way back in the first PvZ that he had played, decided to get his lair tech, his evolution chamber, roach horn, things like that very late. It was on like 52 drones, something like that. ST.Squirtle going for a little bit more normal 43, 44 drones when he puts all those down. Yeah,
pretty much. So it looks like it will be a little bit of a +1 push, or a lot bit of a +1 push. 6 more gateways about to finish actually for Squirtle right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll see how much pressure he really wants to apply. I mean, is that a probe coming out across the map right now down there? Okay,
no,
it's actually Stalker, yeah. Okay. So he's just kind of poking right now. Looks like it's going to be Blink +2, yeah. There's a Blink and the +2 started instead. And what is the worker count right now for Protoss?
It is 46. So, yeah, 46, he is producing a couple more now, and it looks like, let's go ahead and add up the total. Yep, it is going to be 7K +2 Blink. This is a big, old, fat all-in. Now, a lot of times people will say, oh, it's multiple bases, how could it be all in? Well, sometimes we've mentioned this is kind of a combination of an economic and a tech all in as well. You're not falling back on robo technology, it looks like in Squirtle's case. He's just sitting on 23 probes on each base, and he's just going to make a huge amount of stalkers and try and kill his opponent right now. If he doesn't at least kill a base, he's going to be way behind.
Yeah, now there is an Overlord in the natural right now kind of scouting things out, or Overseer rather, so ST.Squirtle will be able to get a lot of information. Oh man, that doesn't... That should pretty much tell him what's going on. Oh, Chrono Boost on the Twilight Council and a bunch of gateways. Gee, what could this possibly be? So ST.Squirtle should have all the information he needs. The question is does he have enough larvae right now to be able to respond appropriately with this? He's been able to use a lot of them, but 11 more roaches on the way, a few more lings. Forward pylon is already down, and the warp-ins have started, though.
Yes, they have, and Blink is going to finish up in about 15 seconds here, and it looks like this is timed a little bit quicker than most of these pushes, which is actually kind of cool. He moves in before the Blink finishes up, and it finishes just in time, so looks like Squirtle just going to start running over to that natural.
Yep, it's that 10-minute timing when so many Protoss pushes come, and here we go. Roach is pushing in right now, but Blink is done. +2, not quite yet, but that is, I think, probably going to be enough roaches to push Squirtle back for just the moment, but another round of warp-ins, and yeah, that's not even going to be enough. I mean, the thing is he's got more roaches coming out right now, more lings coming out as well, and if the sentry count continues to stay low, the lings will be pretty good against this, but it is looking a little bit risky for ST.Squirtle right now.
Yes, it is, and Squirtle with good control here is certainly going to be able to inflict a ton of damage. He is doing so. He's only lost a couple of his stalkers. There are a couple more at the front.
Blink
finally go down, but that is ridiculous.
Man, keeping nearly every stalker alive. They're all starting to get a little bit low here, but remember, the warp-ins are going to keep happening. There's 18 more roaches on the way. Drones have to come off the line right now, and the supply is getting very close between these two players. 22 roaches on the way, but they're all going to come out kind of piecemeal here. So it looks like Squirtle's going to be able to at least kill a base before this force comes out completely.
And already 20 workers have gone down. It's 44 drones now to 46 probes, and the roaches just keep disappearing. Finally, they have to burrow underneath, but that's going to allow these stalkers to start recovering all of their shields up.
Yeah, it's not looking very good for our Zerg player. It just goes to show, I mean, the strength of these two base all-ins that Protoss have. The roaches on burrow, but just not a lot of reinforcements in time.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be about it for ST.Squirtle. It looks like Squirtle's going to tie things up.
Yeah, Macro Hatch and the Natural going down right now. ST.Squirtle is kind of on his last legs and doesn't have a huge economy to fall back on as well. Squirtle just going to continue to push on through. Yes, he does. And even has that robo coming up so he can eventually float over an observer. But things looking very, very good for him.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff he's putting down now back home, the robo, is almost more of a formality than anything. I mean, he knows that he won this game, but GG, there it is. Squirtle taking the game, tying things up 4-4.